All right, Heidi.
The excitement is starting to happen.
Yeah. We don't even know which direction we're going.
No, we had
It's great
to stop
fun.
and do the Google walking tours. As we waited for the acceptance of our offer, or counteroffer, from the Saona 47 owner, Franny and I were off to Annapolis, Maryland to attend the Annapolis Sailboat Show for the second year in a row. We hope to see more catamarans to help solidify that we made the correct decision and picked the right boat for us. We also hope to find an insurance company for our hopefully future boat. The first stop was for us, of course, the newer version of the Saona 47 by Fountaine Pajot called the Tana. I had set up an appointment with Valerie many weeks ago in anticipation of the crowds at the show.
So can you point out some of the major differences between this and the last version, the Saona?
Yes.
Okay.
The biggest thing is the integrated solar panels.
Oh, it's integrated now.
You would have a longer bench. Those windows are opening a lot more.
Oh, gotcha.
Than they did on the Tana.
That's nice.
On the Sauna, it was opening up to here.
Okay.
So you have a lot more in and out effect. You don't
You
have
can get more air
an
flow.
island on this boat. And what they really, one of the big features they went away from is the nav table, which has gone almost on every single model except the Astrea 42, is now here.
All right.
And even though we have a chalk plotter here, most people don't even put it in. What they've done on this boat is they've really come up from the 45 and up. They've come up with higher end appliances, so they will be nicer than what you used to have on the Sauna as well.
Okay.
So so the countertop are different, the wood color are different because they change that every few years. So that's a really nice feature. They've integrated the TV in here, so some people go slightly smaller so it can be recessed. But the big difference, the difference between the two models is really the salon. Not so much the layout in the cabin is very much the same, but the countertop and then the integrated solar is really is a difference.
There were a couple of other features I'd noticed as well. One of them was this extra hatch in the Maestro berth. This hatch is always included on the exterior of the boat for the 5-berth charter versions, but on the Maestro version it is actually covered up. The Maestro on the Tana had it installed, which is absolutely wonderful. It will add more light and can be used for better airflow in the master berth area. The other missing feature was in the master head area. The Saona had a large cupboard, most likely for linen storage. This newer version had a couple of small matching shelves on each side of the mirrors, but it didn't have nearly as much space. The large pull-out drawer was also gone as well, and it had been replaced with a couple of concealed cupboards. After a couple of days of seeing brand new boats at the boat show, we were actually off to do something a little bit different. Wiley had called us and let us know about a Leopard 48 that was available for us to actually put an offer on if we didn't come to an agreement on the Saona 47, and so he set up an appointment for us to see the Leopard. We were quite excited to see it because as we were thinking about turning to the boating lifestyle, we set up a bunch of different consults with several different YouTubers, and one of those YouTubers was the Winds, and here's what they had to say about the Leopard 48.
Like the last 2 years of the 48, if you're looking at a used one, like that's the cream of the crop. Oh. That is
for
one
Leopard.
sweet boat. They figured everything out, and the last 2 years, like Kent was like, we rarely have to fix them because they're built so well.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, okay. So that's actually a really great boat to consider. It also is a really good layout for space and for creating a really sweet workshop.
Yeah. Oh, all right, great.
There you go. This is our chauffeur, Ben.
Really?
All right.
Hi, Ben.
This is Heidi and Franny.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
This was a brand new experience for us. I don't think I had ever had a dinghy ride, and going to look at a potential boat to buy by dinghy was certainly a fun experience. The owner's son shuttled us over to his family's boat. The boat was called Zenobia. It was a 2016 owner's version. It was also the most expensive one on the market in the world right at that point in time. The Leopard 48 was very fully optioned for full-time cruising. It had ample solar and lithium batteries. It also had a fully enclosed helm and cockpit for foul weather, and it even had additional spots for fishing poles and a dive compressor and tanks. It had a walk-through front door from the salon, which is a very popular feature of Leopards, and it would allow for much more airflow into the salon. On the con side for the boat, it appeared cluttered, as if there wasn't enough storage. The galley seemed small to me, and the berths were less than ideal width. I didn't see an adequate space to store our cat litter boxes as well. As we continue to look at the Leopard, I believe that Franny and I very much divided on this one. Franny definitely liked this boat, and she felt that she could have lived there. There had been a lot of upgrades done. There were things that, looking back at this now, I wish that I had opened my eyes a little bit more, because there were some significant upgrades. So this wasn't my first choice. Franny and I would have to have a discussion on which way we wanted to go at this point forward. There was still one thing to accomplish while we were at the boat show, and that was to finish our quest for an insurance agent for our boat. We had already been rejected by one broker. I talked to a couple of other sailing channels, in particular Dauntless and Mary with David Shee Sales. They both gave me some wonderful advice about what to do when looking for insurance. Mary Shee gave me the name of their insurance agent out of Texas, and although he wasn't able to directly help me since I didn't live in Texas, he was able to get me on the right track, and I was able to find an insurance agent out of Florida who would write coverage for us. I was very excited, and this was well worth our trip to Annapolis. We stayed through the last day of the boat show, which was the day that all the boats would finally leave the docks where they had been docked all week. It was really amazing to watch the amazing maneuvers that some of these captains would be pulling off. It was really quite fun. But we were very relieved to be getting onto a plane, knowing that we had an insurance agent who could write a policy on the boat that we had put an offer on, and we were very interested in the next part, which was to see our boat actually come out of the water. We were about to start a haul out, so we very much wanted to return to Fort Lauderdale and get that process finished. November is high season in Fort Lauderdale, which means things are complicated. What does that mean for us and being able to haul out the boat? Well, everybody is pretty much booked when it comes to haul outs. So what we had to do is we had to try to schedule to get the boat hauled out on a weekend. But we also had to make sure that the crane operator, who only works there Monday through Friday, was available. So we had to get the boat delivered on a Friday so that we could get it hauled out for the weekend.
It's just like flying, you know, it's like hours of boredom punctuated by seconds of sheer terror. Huge shout out to our broker, Wiley Sharp, for piloting the boat through the marina and all the way to the haul out crane. We're here this morning for the second half of our survey. So you can see the boat is out of the water and in the travel lift there. So today we're going to do the underside of the boat. What Wiley's doing here is a really great idea. He's taking pictures of the underside of the rudder, and then also the underside of the keel. This will give us a lot of information if the boat has actually been run aground. If you're just seeing a little bit of paint removal, well then that's not a big deal. But if you do see some crunchy bits under there, then that's really something to look at a little more closely. Now, about these emergency escape hatches, there was some question as to whether they had been updated, but if you look here, you'll see these 4 dots around the edge. That shows us that this hatch has indeed been updated, and those are bolts that are actually holding the glass piece onto the frame. On the older style hatches, they didn't have those bolts, and it was possible that the glass could delaminate and actually fall out, and you could practically sink the boat from that. So it's very important that these hatches have been updated. Wiley is explaining here that this white bit is most likely caused by the anchor chain. Here's another example of very poor anchoring skills. My guess is that this, coupled with the bent windlass, says that someone tried to yank the anchor out backwards when it was stuck on a rock. This obviously will have to be replaced. Also, this was a good opportunity to take a good look at that dinghy platform. Notice that big brace up there? This platform had been bent severely and had to be repaired. Also, great opportunity to take a look at the zincs as well. Look at the underside of the dinghy. Boy, there's some big dents in it. I think this thing's had a little bit of a hard life. Bright and early on Monday morning, our inspector Jonathan Sands started in on his full inspection. And what you're seeing is those common taps that you see the inspectors always doing on the bottom of the hull. What they're looking for are voids. So a void is just a wet area or some type of separation between the gel coat and the fiberglass, or maybe even more. But it has a very different sound when you go over it with that teeny little hammer. You should hear that hard tap noise that you're hearing here. If you hear a dull thud, that's a very bad sign.
There's a couple.
And so this is, what causes this problem?
FP has had a long-standing history of these. I don't know why they haven't resolved it. It's gotten better for sure, but generally it's incorrect either application or incorrect gel coat finish. And so what happens is, generally what a blister is, it absorbs water, it absorbs moisture, and so you end up with these little pockets.
During the construction process, though?
Afterwards.
After the, oh, okay, so this is moisture under the hull then, or under the gel coat.
It's not really under so much, although sometimes it is, but it's more like it just gets absorbed into it.
Oh, really?
And so it swells up.
Okay, gotcha, okay.
It could be just some other random defect, but I doubt it.
Okay.
We kind of know these boats get
those little bumps on it. Okay. But it's not a structural thing. Will it grow? Do you think it'll grow?
It could grow, and you could get a little more of them. I mean, the boat's not brand new. It's not 15 years old, but it's also not 6 months old. So I wouldn't expect it to go from like a couple, like 10 blisters, like kind of somewhat appear to be isolated to this area, to now thousands all over the boat. I can tell you, like historically speaking, no boat has ever sunk because of a blister. However, when it was a bigger issue, Fountaine Pajot warranted the blister repair below the waterline, but not above the waterline.
Interesting.
Because their claim was strictly cosmetic.
Okay.
And it is, and I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
Sure. And
Obviously,
so the
you don't want the blisters.
yeah, and the solution is to just grind this out, I suppose, right? And then just rebuild it all the way back from the fiberglass?
Yeah, and it's probably gonna, I think it's on these, in most cases, like if it's this, kind of how far it stands out and how big it is, it gives you some indication of the depth that it goes. And so if they're pretty small, they're probably just in the gel coat or like maybe the outer layer. If they end up like pancake size, then it's probably going to go further, further into the material. And so, again, the size of it is going to depend on the complexity of the repair. But generally speaking, they just dish them out. If it's in the glass, they just throw some, like, they'll take what they have there, like chop strand mat or glass, and just build it back out and put they'll dab a little epoxy on it and then gel coat it.
And just like that, the boat was off again. We had a survey in hand that we now could work through insurance with.
that concludes the survey and sea trial on the boat. So of course we did the first half in Key West, and we hauled out here in Lauderdale at Harbortown Marina. So there's a couple of things that were getting done to the boat, which was kind of nice, but I think we got a really good look at it. What do you think, Heidi?
Well, I didn't get a look at it, and so I am actually very excited to go exploring. I can't wait to actually get the boat and spend some time on the boat and just kind of, you know, checking it out and getting familiar with it. I mean, this is going to be my new home, and I'm very excited about getting access to it. So yeah, it seems like the next few days while we wait to finalize a lot of the paperwork and the transaction and insurance and everything else is going to be like a really long week for us.
Yeah.
So I am very, very excited. It's, I can't believe that it's like almost ours.
It's gonna be pretty cool. So we're
Yeah.
like about a week out from closing-ish, something like that, depending
Yeah.
on how things go. So we obviously have a ton of work to do between now and then.
Like, and honestly, the boat's in really good shape. It's just there's little details of stuff that, you know, renaming the boat, for example, and
Yeah, so we have some
yeah.
ideas on that. You're gonna hang around to hear what we
Right.
actually named the boat. So it's gonna be pretty cool.
So a little boat ceremony, right?
Oh yeah, we have to do the Neptune boat ceremony
Right.
thing too as well. So any rate, so that's where we are with this, and we will, let's see, I guess we'll pick up. Maybe the next episode will be when we actually step on the boat
Yeah,
when it's ours.
taking
or, I
ownership
don't know,
of
we'll have
it.
to see. Yeah,
We'll
we're not
see.
really sure. So any rate.
If we'll have access to it anymore now. Yeah.
But at any rate, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we're going to have lots more content, obviously, coming up with the boats and stuff. So
Right.
thanks again, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Join us for our next episode when we thought we had the whole purchase of the boat in the bag, and then Hurricane Nicole shows up creating lots of obstacles for us.